Hey guys, it's Neon. Welcome back to Clownfish TV. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
An actual woman.
Yes.
I can verify.
I have the assets to prove that I am a woman.
She has the assets to prove
I am.
She is a woman, and she did not get to chime in on the video I did about a week ago regarding Netflix canceling female-led shows. Now, since that time, the entire blogosphere has been complaining about all the women and minorities being canceled by Netflix. Before, Netflix was touting its diversity.
Right.
Now, because Netflix is in financial trouble, big trouble. I mean, they've lost a lot of subscribers. They've lost a lot of value. And there's all kinds of doom and gloom about their stock. Now, all of a sudden, they're chopping everything that's not performing, male, female, or otherwise.
Right. So they've 100% proved that it's all women that have been cut.
No, it's not all women.
I know. I'm just being a smartass.
Yeah, it's not. They're singling out the women. So we're gonna talk about this and what this means for Netflix and why some of these shows probably got chopped. Before we get into the video, thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to us. We hit 50,000 this week. We're hoping for 100,000 by the end of the year.
Well, I think that's a lofty goal, but you know.
Subs, not dollars, but we'll take dollars too.
Yeah.
But we're hoping for that by the end of the year. We'll see. I don't know if it's possible. I think we're on target for 100,000 in the spring, but we'll see what happens. See what happens. But thank you so much, everybody. So, this is coming from IndieWire, written by a white man. Netflix has canceled 8 series from women so far.
8. How many
series.
series were canceled total?
Well, I was going to bring that up. I'm just
asking because I wasn't in here for the last one.
Netflix has canceled, let's see, 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sci-fi shows. Some of the sci-fi shows, and they count all the Marvel shows as one. I think there's been more than this. Okay. Yeah, I think there's been more than this. Netflix is basically, I think this is not a gender thing. I think they're just chopping shows that aren't performing.
Well, some of those shows did perform, though. But they got chopped because of Disney. I mean, the Marvel.
Oh, the Marvel ones. Yeah, the Marvel.
Yeah,
the Marvel shows. Yeah, they're just like, yeah, screw you, Disney, or Disney said pull the shows or whatever. So those you can't really count. As far as the other shows, you know, I think they're going by the what they bring to the table, the watch time versus the expense.
Well, that's true.
You know,
I'm sure there's a reason, but they should be saying what those reasons are.
They're not. Netflix doesn't tell anybody why they greenlight shows or why they cancel shows.
Like YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a mystery. And all of Netflix's numbers are internal, so they are their own Nielsen's ratings. You know, it's none of this is made public. So people, I mean, this is the one fair takeaway from this, I think, and most of the articles bring up that Netflix does not tell people how it decides whether or not a series is successful or not successful. They don't run ads on their platform. So they can't justify keeping a show on the air because the advertisers love it or don't like it or whatever. It's basically, I think it's based on watch time. And some of their shows just aren't promoted. Some of these shows I didn't know existed. We talked about Tuca and Bertie.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
This weird, and we watch a lot of animation, but I didn't even know the show existed until it got canceled.
Still don't care.
Yeah, I don't think you would. I saw some clips.
It's not my kind of show.
No, so
it's not for me.
It's not for you. So let's talk about all the women that were canceled and get Geeky's take on this. So earlier in the year, reports surfaced that streaming services are more likely than traditional networks to cancel original series after 2 or 3 seasons. That does seem to be the case with
But that
Netflix.
makes more sense because they're okay.
Yeah.
That just makes sense. But
it makes sense. Be it rising production costs due to front-loaded deals or decreased ease of accessibility for new audiences looking to start watching, the theory has proven out this year with Netflix canceling a slew of short-run shows. But that seemingly impartial policy seems to affect a disproportionate number of female women creators.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Of all the shows that got left on Netflix, what percentage of those are women? Because what if they cancel 12 shows and 8 of them have to be run by women? But they cap a whole bunch of women-run shows on Netflix.
That's too logical. You can't. And some of the shows I know they have...
I never heard of half these shows.
That's probably why they got canceled. You know, Friends from College, One Day at a Time, which actually One Day at a Time got picked up by another network.
Okay.
Because it was popular. Chambers, Jessica Jones, that's because of the Disney thing. Orange is the New Black. I think it just...
That came from HBO, didn't it?
Didn't it? I don't know. I've actually never watched it. But
I never watched it either, but
had
I
a long run.
Maybe it was only on Netflix. Maybe it was Netflix only.
Tuca and Bertie, it's weird and it's expensive. Trinkets and the OA.
I've never heard of half of these.
I've heard of the OA. I've never watched it.
I think I've heard of just a couple of these and that's it. I've heard of, One Day at a Time because the remake or whatever. I heard of Jessica Jones. I've heard of Orange is the New Black, and that's it.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Well, okay, look, this isn't... Okay, so the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt wrapped its, arc up. Orange is the New Black, I thought, was ending anyway. One Day at a Time.
It's been around for a long time. Orange is the New Black's been on for years.
It's been on for a long time. It was actually their first... I actually think it was Netflix.
Yeah, I think it was Netflix.
Yeah, because it was their first big breakout show they had.
I think you're right.
One Day at a Time got canceled, but it also got picked up by another network. So it's still continuing. So I don't understand where they're getting, oh my God, you're canceling all the women.
Yeah,
on Netflix.
Yeah, that's not what I'm
Okay, okay.
I know one they can cancel. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Well, it's had 3 seasons, and it's expensive. We'll see. When considering Netflix has said goodbye to 21 series.
Okay.
So far this year, that may not sound like a lot, but seeing more than 1/3.
Wait.
Okay.
1/3. 1/3 means that the lion's share are women, and they're just targeting women because 1/3 of the shows. So technically, if they would have canceled 5 shows with women, they would have been like 1/4 of the shows were targeted because it's targeting women.
Shouldn't they feel good that twice as many men got canceled as women? That actually should be the title of the video. Twice as many men got canceled by Netflix. Well,
it could be just,
or
it doesn't necessarily mean men. It could just be like, men and women together working together, like normal people.
Yeah, when people used to actually work together. Yeah.
But so 21 series are canceled, and 1/3 of them, 21. So about that's a little more than 1/3, because there's 21 and there's 8. That's percentually a little more than 1/3.
Yeah, but they keep going on about gender parity. I'm like, not parody, but parity. That there are fewer female-led shows than shows by male and female run teams that were canceled. So isn't that kind of a good thing?
Yeah.
Like, hey, if it was like 20 of the 21 shows were run by women, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, they're saying if you take out the series that were renewed for a final season or otherwise ending on their own terms, the percentage shifts. But still, like I was gonna say, a lot of those ones, like Orange is the New Black, I thought was ending anyway, and it's been around for a while. We're talking about other shows here, Series of Unfortunate Events, which was limited run.
Well, yeah, they ran out of books.
I mean, I don't know.
Wait a minute.
People just looking for reasons to get
pissed. This is because I'm like, look at this. 6 of the 8 canceled shows would have continued. So okay, so of the 8 quote unquote canceled shows, 2 of those shows were not canceled because they just ended naturally.
So wait, so that makes it 6. So the 14 series that won more season 6 were from women. So half were from women, which means half were from not women. So that makes it kind of even. Actually, that means that there's 8 that were canceled that were not women. So that actually kind of skews to the favor of the women. I mean, if you go looking for stuff to be pissed about, you're going to find it. You guys are just like looking for things to be mad about, really. I mean, if you had said 14 series were canceled and maybe like 12 of them were women, I'd have been like, okay, yeah, that's a little weird. I would even admit that's a little bit strange. But 14 series that were canceled that didn't have more that didn't have a finale or were self-contained, and of them, 6 were led by women, which is less than half. So it's actually like a 60-40 split to the favor of the woman, that they're getting the 40%, and they're mad.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm like, this is stupid. I mean, if it was like a, 80-20, 90-10, I can see where you might be like, okay, yeah, that's a little weird. But...
Okay, so here, these figures serve as more of a warning sign than a call to action. Warning, some women got canceled, even though twice as many men got canceled.
Warning, we want flipping equality, but by equality, we mean we want special treatment. That's what, as a woman, that's what I get pissed about.
I did not say that.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because I'm so sick of this. I am for equality. I am not for revenge or special treatment. I don't think it's right. I think overall in general, women don't get as far as men on some things? Yeah, that's probably true. But that's because traditionally men have been doing it, so more women are coming into it. Maybe if you had if women were also focused on trying to show the men and just more focused on making good things, there wouldn't be such a problem. But there's this trend, especially on, you know, Twitter and Tumblr and the internet, which is...
There is no more Tumblr.
Well, you know what I mean.
So Twitter.
On the internet, which is, we don't want equality, we want revenge. We don't want equality, we want special treatment. If you're truly a feminist and you want equality, then that's one thing that I agree with you. But this is equality. Actually, it's skewed to your favor. 50%, well, actually in this case, 60% of men's shows were canceled, 40% of women. That seems pretty fair to me. I'm tired of hearing this. It's like, we want equality, we want equality. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want it to be, you just want revenge. You want it to be the other way, where it's 80% women, 20% men. That's what you want. At the end of the day, let's just stop the bullshit and call it what it is. And you know what? That's not fair either. So why don't we just like agree that maybe some things are better if there's equal, or some things are better if you have a split cast, and some things you don't have to be pushing feminism on everything. Just saying. And I'm actually a feminist woman, which they're going to try to tell me I'm not, because they always do. I'm like, you know what? F you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Netflix remains committed to hiring women-run series.
Yeah, clearly.
But it's of note that the company has yet to achieve gender parity, not parity, among creators overall.
So we're pissed because...
It's not a 50-50 exact split.
Well, even then it won't be okay. It won't be okay. Because here you actually aren't 50-50 here on the cancellations. You actually are to the good. And that's not good enough either. Yeah, you're not going to get 50% on everything. And I mean, quite frankly, I'm just going to be honest here. It's because a lot of the stuff that's being put out is extremely, extremely niche. We'll put it that way. If you would focus on good stories, and I'm not trying to say, because there's a lot of women out there who don't do that and just focus on good stories. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people who are pissed about this kind of stuff, because usually they're mad because they think they should be half of it. And you know what? I'm agreeing with you. Women should be half of it. However, you're going to have to start making good stuff and not just making agenda-driven stuff.
Well, I think that's kind of where Tuca and Bertie, came in, where it was, look, I didn't see the show. It might have been good. I saw clips of it, and I'm like, clearly, I mean, as a dude, I am not the audience for this show. But it looked weird.
It's fine to have a few shows like that.
Okay, so the complaint here is that it hasn't received gender parity, and of the dramas, comedies, animated series, 10 Netflix originals are created or co-created by women, and 21 are created or co-created by men.
Sakes.
So only a third of the shows. So it's not exactly 50-50, but...
Is it going to be anytime soon? Because Netflix is a freeze on money, kind of.
Yeah, they're basically putting a freeze on the money. They're putting a hold on the money because they're not doing well. And, I think at this point... And again, this isn't a gender or race thing. This is a what is performing, what is going to bring subscribers, and what's not going to bring subscribers. Stranger Things. People are going to watch us for shows like Stranger Things. They'll probably try to find a replacement for Orange is the New Black and some other popular shows. Tuca and Bertie is not going to bring people.
I never heard of it.
Well, they don't market their shows either. I mean, they really don't.
Now everybody's complaining about that's what gets marketed, what doesn't. And I don't know. I think they could stop a lot of the screaming and a lot of people being mad if they just put the numbers out there. But a lot of people don't want you to see their numbers. Anyway.
Shira. Well, I think that's why they're trying so hard to, talking about Shira, I think that's why they're trying so hard to push it now in the media and in the toy sales and whatever. They're trying to drive awareness because they are at that critical point where another season is not guaranteed.
Right.
3 seasons, that's long in the tooth for Netflix. So now they're sounding the alarm. Your favorite Netflix show will soon be canceled. Do you love a unique original Netflix show with a diverse cast? Don't get used to it. Daily Dot says they're going to cancel your favorite show. American Vandal, The Get Down, or Sense8. They're going to cancel
these either.
The AO and Tuca and Bertie. Obviously, big hits like Stranger Things are safe, but while traditional dramas like The Ozark, a crime show with a white male protagonist, get renewed, the more racially diverse and creatively offbeat shows are dropping like flies.
Right here you said it. Creatively offbeat. That's why. Creatively offbeat can just be mostly translated to niche shows that have a very small audience, and that is your problem. You are niching, whatever, yourself into oblivion, which we've warned you not to do with stories.
Right, and this is it right here, okay? This wouldn't be surprising for network TV, but Netflix spent the past few years cultivating a reputation for promoting marginalized creators.
That's what I've heard.
Netflix took a lot of chances on a lot of shows that network TV would not pick up.
That I agree with, but I've never heard that they've been out there promoting marginalized creators all the time. Have you?
Not really.
I've heard that what you're saying. Yes, they're trying to take chances on shows other places would not do.
Even Stranger Things. I love they keep going to Stranger Things. Like, well, Stranger Things was Money in the Bank. Stranger Things was turned down by every network. Yeah. Every network turned Stranger Things down. I think one of them said they would pick it up, but they wanted Hopper to be the protagonist. They did not want the kids to be the protagonist in the show. They didn't think it would work. They wanted it to be a crime drama with Hopper being the protagonist. I don't know what we're looking at. I have no idea what we're looking at.
I was like, what is this?
So basically they turn it into... I gotta breathe here because I'm trying to think how to word this without coming off as being a complete douchebag. At the end of the day, it comes down to money. And Netflix is starting to learn the hard way that money is not infinite, that they're not the only game in town. There's fierce competition coming. They're hemorrhaging subscribers. Mm-hmm. They lost a huge chunk of valuation. You've got mainstream media outlets telling people to sell their Netflix stock now because it's going to drop up to 70%. How can they take chances and spend a ridiculous amount of money on shows that will not actually drive traffic to the platform?
And that's not to say they couldn't use diverse cast or marginalized creators. They just want creators to do stories that actually are actually going to watch. I mean, I'm just going to call it like it is. You need shows people are going to watch. And they're, yes, that's great that they gave a platform to these weird shows that wouldn't make it on other networks. But there's a reason why they wouldn't make it on other networks. And maybe you should put your show on your own network or YouTube or something. Because quite frankly, they're going to have to do shows that make money.
That they're pretty much in a do or die position now, and I agree. I mean, I think it's kind of the same situation with comic books. We talk a lot about the comic book industry here, and it's kind of with comic books too, where they tried so hard, I think, for parody or whatever, that they did not realize who their audience actually was, who was actually buying the books, and they were making a lot of books for people that weren't really interested in reading the comic books. It's not about
hiring people that are diverse or that are marginalized, because that is something different than what they're complaining about. There's a lot of people out there that are marginalized people and diverse people who want a chance to do shows and have really good ideas that aren't so myopic or narrow for an audience, and they and some of these shows I think are for a very, very, very specific audience and a very small audience, comparatively speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's not a day, but creatively offbeat immediately. I think of all the weird shows when Fox first started.
I can't watch these guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But like when Fox first started back in the late 80s, they had some really weird shows.
Oh my God, they did.
Did never get picked up now.
No.
And there's some weird stuff. MTV used to have some really weird stuff, and a lot of it didn't last long.
No, it didn't.
Because it was too weird. It was too weird. And, it's great to be able to do that, but to be able to spend the money on the weird stuff, you basically have to have a steady revenue stream.
Right.
It's
like they want them to be their personal Sundance festival.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, this isn't about diversity. This isn't about marginalized creators. You can still have diverse casts. You can still hire marginalized creators. This is the projects need to be ones that are going to appeal to a wider audience. And there's plenty of them out there who are just waiting for a chance and have really good ideas.
Yeah, and that's it too. And I think, just going forward, I think the entertainment industry is going to learn very quickly. And I think we're seeing this a lot in movies and TV and comics, especially, that to survive, they're going to have to go back to being a meritocracy, because the money is not infinite. The customers are not going to continue to buy things that they're not interested in, and then be told that they're awful people because they choose to take their money someplace else or spend their money someplace else. So you almost, if you want to have some creatively offbeat shows or comic books or whatever, then you need to have other more established shows propping those up.
Right.
Like DC Comics. You can take a lot of chances with offbeat titles at Vertigo, which they'd shutter that, but you could absorb the loss maybe from those kinds of books more if Superman and Batman were selling better. But that's kind of how you have to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of here too. Like, they can take chances on some of these, weird shows or these obscure, offbeat, quote unquote, offbeat, creatively offbeat shows. But they're going to have to find shows that are really good to make the money
Right.
pay for it.
When it's become a running joke in the entertainment industry that Netflix will greenlight anything, that's not a very good look.
No.
And I mean, that is part of the reason I think they're in the situation they're in right now, where they're going to go up against Disney, and Disney's funneling its money into like Marvel stuff and Star Wars, but they're, I think, being a little smarter about where they're spending their dollars because they're trying to have stuff that has mass appeal.
Right. And before Netflix could do whatever, because they were only Game in Town for a while. Right. And then Hulu showed up. But even then, they weren't doing as much as Netflix did.
No.
So they could get away with it. But that's not the case anymore. And coming in a year or two, it's really not going to be the case. So,
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of competition.
I'm just like, I'm 100% behind hiring more female-led shows. I'm 100% behind hiring more diverse casts and diverse, marginalized people-led shows. But I'm just saying, you're going to have to pick shows, though, that have a mass appeal. That are creatively offbeat. When the company's doing better and it's making money hand over fist, that's, pretty much when you can take a chance on. I mean, in a better situation, they probably had plenty of money to throw around, but now it's like, it's gonna be do or die for Netflix, right?
So.
And Netflix really does need to make their stuff a little more transparent for people about why things are getting canceled, what their metrics are, etc., etc. I also think, though, in regards to what we base this whole thing on, with people being mad about what was canceled, I'm sorry, but 6 to 8 in favor of the women is not something to complain about.
If it was like every show by every female creator,
that's something. If it was if it was like there was 14 shows and like 12 of them were women, I'd be like, whoa, that is a little weird. But we're talking like 6 were women and 8 were men. I'm like, really? I mean, it's not even half and half. It's 60-40 in your favor, and you're complaining about this. Oh, it's the Mary Sue. Well, you don't have to read this one. We know where this is.
Yeah, Mary Sue, is it a biased algorithm, low viewership, or good old-fashioned sexism?
We honestly don't know about the first two because
we don't know. Because Netflix is not transparent.
They really need to be transparent. I mean, I'll give them all that.
So I would actually give them that too, and I think that is a problem. But Netflix, I mean, at this point, I think the overall theme, I think, going forward with Netflix is going to be it's nothing personal. It's just business.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and they're going to have to step up their game. They're competing against Disney, Comcast, Universal, Warner Brothers, and now CBS and Viacom have merged. They're probably,
there's another one probably coming.
Netflix is not going to be the only game in town, and again, shows like Tuca and Bertie are very expensive to produce. I mean, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's just business.
I think so.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.